And thanks, Cleopatra. The Catholic Diocese of the Bahamas speaking out on its revised plans and guidelines to avoid the spread of the coronavirus among thousands of its members. Dion Davis caught up with the head of the diocese for an update.
Archbishop of the Catholic Diocese, the Most Reverend Patrick Pinder, says with coronavirus here in the country, it was in the best interest of the church to close its doors.
We notice places around the world where they have had this particular circumstance with the coronavirus before, and we followed how they've actually acted in the interest of the common good and in the interest of public health. And so it is with that in mind that we have actually canceled our public mass schedules in the Archdiocese.
To give Catholics some spiritual healing as they protect themselves from this aggressive virus, the Archbishop says a second week of online media mass will take shape this coming Sunday.
We will be live streaming the Mass. Not only live streaming it, but also, there are other options, for example, on EWTN, where people can watch the Mass on the TV. But we'll certainly be live streaming the Mass locally, and eventually we'll try to even do it on a daily basis. And what the Church invites us to and provides for is what we call spiritual communion, where one makes an act of spiritual communion. I provided the prayer for that in the most recent guidelines that we have put out.
While the Archbishop does not believe the Catholic Church will lose members based on the accessibility of live streaming, he says large gatherings like funerals and weddings will also be put on hold. The Archbishop also encouraged Bahamians to keep their faith alive despite the global pandemic we find ourselves in.
In terms of faith as a whole, I think it is an example of where our true faith will show itself. The fact of the matter is, when it comes in times of greatest difficulty, that's when faith really shows its strength.
Now, whether or not those cancellations will go far beyond the most holiest week on the Christian calendar, the Archbishop says we'll cross that bridge when we get there. From the St. Francis Xavier Cathedral, Dion Davis, ZNS Network News.